Welcome to Skytech-Lens. The global economy is reeling as President Trump's administration slaps a sweeping 25% tariff on all steel and aluminum imports, targeting even America's closest allies. The European Union is stunned, and Sweden, deeply tied to global trade, faces a direct threat to its industrial core. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson, a champion of open markets, is now forced to join a united EU response, marking a dramatic shift in Swedish policy. The stakes are high. Sweden's prosperity and its core economic principles are on the line. High-level talks in Stockholm, including between US and Chinese officials, highlight Sweden's new diplomatic role, but offer little protection from the fallout. The looming trade war forces Swedish leaders to walk a tightrope between defiance and diplomacy. This isn't just about steel and cars. It's a clash of economic ideologies. America first versus European cooperation. Sweden is caught in the middle, its every move watched by capitals worldwide. The decisions made now could reshape global supply chains and shift the balance of economic power for a generation. The world waits to see how Sweden will respond. Sweden, long a beacon of free trade, now faces a painful reckoning. Retaliatory tariffs go against its economic DNA, but US actions leave little choice. Standing alone is not an option. EU unity is now essential. Trade Minister Benjamin Dusa warns there are no winners in tariff wars, but Sweden must act with Europe to protect its interests. The government is in constant talks with Brussels and business leaders, seeking a balanced response that defends Swedish jobs, while keeping dialogue open with the US Finance Minister Elizabeth Svantesson cautions that the threatened 10% US car tariff may be just the beginning. Despite deep discomfort, Sweden is preparing for economic battle, hoping for a quick resolution but bracing for a drawn-out conflict. The nation's free trade instincts are being tested as never before. Sweden's pivot is reluctant but resolute. US tariffs hit Sweden's industrial heartland hard, especially the automotive sector. Volvo, Scania and SKF face rising costs and disrupted supply chains, threatening jobs and investment. Steel and aluminum producers known for high-quality exports are squeezed as American buyers seek cheaper alternatives. Even Sweden's life sciences sector fears collateral damage, with clinical trials and medical trade at risk. The government has slashed its growth forecast, bracing households for economic turbulence. The threat is no longer hypothetical. Tariffs are slowing one of Europe's most dynamic economies. Swedish industry is scrambling to adapt, but uncertainty clouds the future. The stakes for workers and communities are real and immediate. Sweden's only real defense is EU solidarity. Alone, it's powerless against US economic might. Together, Europe can push back. Swedish diplomats are working closely with Brussels to craft a targeted strategic response. Retaliatory tariffs on iconic US goods. The goal: maximize pressure on Washington, minimize harm at home, and keep the door open for negotiation. Sweden advocates for a firm but measured approach, ensuring EU actions are WTO compliant and reversible. Internal EU negotiations are tense. Each country has unique vulnerabilities, but unity is paramount. The US tariffs, ironically, have strengthened Europe's resolve. For Sweden, tying its fate to the EU is a calculated risk, but offers protection against unilateral US pressure. In a world of shifting alliances, Sweden bets on strength in numbers. The message: Europe will not be divided. With US trade in jeopardy, Sweden is urgently diversifying. Industry and government are pivoting toward Asia, the Middle East and Africa, markets hungry for Swedish innovation. Green tech, advanced manufacturing and digital solutions are opening doors in emerging economies. Business delegations and new trade agreements aim to build resilient long-term partnerships. But replacing the US market's scale and profitability won't be easy or quick. Diversification is a smart long-term play but not a short-term fix. Swedish companies are hedging their bets, seeking new growth while fighting to preserve US ties. The balancing act is complex, reflecting a new era of fluid economic allegiances. Sweden's future may depend on how well it cultivates these new relationships. The search for new horizons is both a necessity and an opportunity. Sweden stands at a crossroads: retaliate with the EU, seek reconciliation with the US, or reinvent its economic model. Retaliation shows strength but risks a damaging trade war with no real winners. Reconciliation means keeping dialogue open, hoping for a negotiated settlement. The third path: reinvention, diversifying markets, shortening supply chains, and building a more self-reliant economy. Each choice carries risks and rewards, and none offer easy answers. Sweden's prosperity was built on openness, but the rules are changing. The nation's next move will echo far beyond its borders. The world is watching as Sweden decides its future. Thanks for watching a video, and subscribe the channel now for more new video. Thanks.